team to make your comeback stronger than ever. Getting stronger, getting better, getting you back to your best self. The life of an athlete has its uncertainties, wins and losses, injury and recovery. In the Black Hills area, athletes can always count on Monument Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, here for whatever moves you.
Hi, this is David Brenneman with Coldwell Banker, Black Hills Legacy in Rapid City. Have you thought about buying a home or real estate in the Black Hills? Maybe you want to upgrade to your forever home? I have been helping people in the Black Hills find the right home for nearly 20 years. When it comes to buying or selling, experience matters. Let me do the work, and you can open the door to your new home. Say hello to a good buy with me, David Brenneman. To get started, just Google David Brenneman, Coldwell Banker.
This isn't just the sound of a legendary Brunswick pool table. It's the sound of families about to make memories together. And while this may sound like the hum of a spa, listen closely and you'll hear backyard fun for years to come. So while Splash City's guarantee of quality sure sounds good, we know quality time sounds even better.
Who wants another burger?
Splash City, 1024 West Omaha, across from Connects in Rapid City.
At Highmark Credit Union, we believe banking should feel personal. That's why when you walk into our lobbies, you'll be greeted by real tellers and friendly staff, ready to help with your questions, big or small. And yes, we've got the latest technology too, for when you want quick and convenient service. The best part? You get to choose. Highmark Credit Union. Personal service backed by modern technology. We'll make it happen. Federally insured by the NCUA.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
Here's what you need to know.
Happy opening day, and it was a happy one for the New York Mets, who outscored the Pirates today 11-7. Pirates starter Paul Skeens didn't make it out of the first inning. Allowed 5 earns on 2/3 of an inning of work through 37 pitches before being pulled. Mets an 11-7 winner today. The Nationals topped the Cubs by a score of 10-4. Brewers routed the White Sox 14-2. Orioles were 2-1 winners against the Twins. Games in progress right now include the Red Sox with a 1-0 lead in Cincinnati in the bottom of the 7th inning. Angels and Astros scoreless right now in the 6th. Tigers taking it to the Padres 8-1 in the 7th, while the Phillies, Kyle Schwarber, a 2-run home run, Alec Bohm a 3-run shot. They lead the Rangers 5-0 in the 6th. Rays on top of the Cardinals 6-1 in the 6th inning. Will Wade is leaving NC State after one season to go back to LSU to be their men's basketball coach. Sweet 16 tonight starts at 7:15 Eastern with Texas and Purdue. 7:30 Eastern time, it's Nebraska against Iowa, the first of 2 in Houston. I'm Dan Buck.
It's time for South Dakota's Sports Talk Show. This is the Nate Brown Show, featuring live callers, great interviews, and thought-provoking sports talk. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
Good Thursday afternoon. We are live on the Nate Brown Show. It is South Dakota Sports Talk Show, ready to go, and it's always a great day in South Dakota. Glad you're here. We are packed tonight. It is a Reaction Thursday. You could call it all sorts of stuff. March Madness Thursday. You've got hockey going on. Sioux Falls getting ready for that. NCAA Division I hockey. I mean, this is a big-time day today, and we got you covered. Huskers, Hawkeyes tonight. This is the place. 2 hours. Let's get ready to go. Rob Kegron's going to be in for a Thursday happy hour segment coming up. Rob Kegron next hour, full hour with Rob. Got a couple of questions of the day. It's time to get popping. The Nate Brown Show is on Fox Sports Radio, our affiliates. We appreciate you on KWSN Sioux Falls and Fox Sports Rapid City. Bring us up on X if you get out of radio range. I know we got long-range radio, but you can pick us up on X, stream us live at Nate Brown Show. Find us and follow us at Nate Brown Show. Watch us on your phone on X. The Nate Brown Show on YouTube. You've got our YouTube channel live right now, The Nate Brown Show. Subscribe, you've got us. And Midwest Sports Plus, another place you can stream this show. The high school sports streaming app, if you don't have it, covering South Dakota sports, is Midwest Sports Plus and The Nate Brown Show live. Welcome in on this Thursday. Hope you're having a solid day. Let's put the show together and get after it. We will go to Houston. coming up. The game's a little over an hour, and you've got Andrew Downs live. He covers the Hawkeyes, has a couple of great podcasts on Iowa Everywhere. Hawkeyes perspective tonight. We got Husker perspective earlier. We got Hawkeyes perspective. We got to be fair on this. You Iowa fans listening East River, you know this. So we're in on the Hawkeyes Huskers tonight. Andrew Downs has been a great sports radio guy. Now he's got a couple of nice podcasts, Instant Iowa and Buckets. We'll talk Hawkeyes Huskers coming up. Andrew Downs, our guest from Houston. Chris Denker is going to break down the Sweet 16 overall. Former D1 head coach, now pro basketball scout, Chris Denker of Net Scouts Basketball. He's on live tonight. High school hoops, let's put a cap on it. We're moving into spring sports. Let's put a cap on high school with Jason Andera, SDPB Sports. He hasn't been on this week. We got to get him tonight. And a Thursday happy hour coming up. Rob Kegron, our guest host, full hour next hour. A lot to discuss. MLB opening day. I mean, things are popping today. MLB opening day. How'd my Cubs do? How'd your Chicago Cubs do? Opening day, Wrigley Field, everybody has the Chicago Dogs. We're all excited. It's like 50 degrees, and then they give up 10 runs to the Nationals. Isn't this fun? 161 games left. We'll be okay. Cubs lose today. Cubs lose today, and that's how my day started. Let's see if we can get some action on the text line for you. 605-720-1067. That's the number. It's the Barron's Wilson text line, 605-720-1067. Join the conversation there. I bring you in on the text line. And remember, the Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline, powered by the Pizza Ranch at East 10th Street, Sioux Falls, and stop by the location in Brandon. Both great spots. Fun Zone Arcade is great for the kids. Home of everyone's favorite buffet. Feed the family at the Pizza Ranch, East 10th Street, Sioux Falls, and in Brandon, locally owned and operated. The Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline is 605-720-1067. You got it? We are out of the gate on this Thursday. What to discuss today? Let's go to a question of the day right out of the gate. So this is something we've discussed the last 2 days, is the transfer portal. There's over 1,000 players. I mean, so everybody, I mean, it's just happening over and over and over. And I'm not going to beat a dead horse here. So there is this scenario, which we talked about, the Summit League. Yesterday, I asked you, does it impact your enjoyment of following Summit League basketball? I asked you that yesterday, all these transfers every year. Okay, so let's get an update on that. When you see Summit League players transferring every year, does it impact your passion and enjoyment of following college basketball? There was a ton of people that voted. There was a ton of people that reacted, and it's heavy. 74% voted. It does impact your enjoyment now following Summit League college basketball. 74% of you. This is on X. 26% say it has no impact on me. So that's heavy yes. The transferring thing is wearing on you guys, on sports fans, on South Dakota sports fans. So let me tell you where people are at on this. They're saying, well, there's really nothing you can do about it. So you just, there's no answers. And I've said this sometimes myself. What can you do about it? What can SDSU, USD, NDSU, UND, what can they do about it? I don't think they're going to be able to do anything about it. There's going to have to be this shift. There's going to have to, I talk about South Dakota high school sports. There needs to be some leadership sometimes. You got to make hard decisions, and sometimes you got to ruffle people's feathers. Sometimes you got to make tough calls, not just looking out for, well, I hope everything just goes smoothly. I hope we can just get along. NCAA college sports conference commissioners are going to have to make a hard decision here. You're going to have to do something because the model itself, even for the big boys, is not quite working that well. There's a select few, like the teams that are playing this weekend. These massive programs, I guess they're doing fine, but they were just discussing this. Kyle Whittingham, the new Michigan football coach, he just said today, there's rosters that are going to get to $50 million in money each year. I mean, and he was talking. He's like, we just can't sustain this. So a few weeks ago, I said Louisville has raised the alarms. They said we can't afford this anymore. That's Louisville. That's a pretty strong program. They have some dollars, some sponsors, some pretty big stuff there at Louisville. They said we can't sustain this. Kyle Whittingham at Michigan said rosters are going to hit $50 million a year. And now on the basketball side, there's the UCLA women's coach. Now, this is an interesting perspective. UCLA's women's coach, she has one of the top programs in the country. So UCLA, 1 seed, they're kind of up there with UConn. UConn, I think, is untouchable, but UCLA's close. UCLA is a power women's basketball program. Her concern is today, she just said this today, I haven't been more tired just working and just running through everything that I have been the last 2 years. And so then immediately, sports fans, if you're listening, you're like, oh, I feel so sorry for the coaches. They're making millions of dollars, and I feel so... No, she's trying to point out it's a never-ending battle in the world of college basketball now. And so I've cited the Summit League problems. The Summit League, mid-majors, you can't keep this. You can't keep players. Any good players, they're gone. And so you're in the Summit League. UCLA's telling you, we're dealing with all sorts of stuff too, trying to bring kids in, trying to keep kids, trying to get money, trying to do this. Doug Gottlieb, who's at Green Bay now, used to be a Fox Sports radio host. Doug Gottlieb said, this is just unbelievable. We're going into next season. I don't know who's going to be here. I got to talk to donors, say, hey, can you guys support my program? We just kind of turned some things around from a bad first year to a good second year. And Doug Gottlieb just said yesterday, these donors are going to get tired. They're not going to do this anymore. So I'm just telling you, what is Justin Sell at South Dakota State, John Schemmel at USD? What do you think they're thinking about all the time? They're thinking like, man, it's a never-ending rat race. You got to get money. You got to get more donors. You got to keep this thing going, and you still can't keep up. You still can't keep players. So what am I asking for? Somebody's got to make a hard decision. Conference commissioners, SEC, Big Ten. There's got to be somebody that does something that helps this scenario because everybody's complaining. Except for Colin Cowherd. He said college basketball's in a great place. I like the games, Colin. It's fine. I'm excited for the Sweet 16. Yes. It's not in a good place, man. College basketball, I mean, you got to be just an elite guy to think, oh, it's just so much better. It's so good. This is great. You can't be spending $50 million a year on a college basketball team and expect the model to survive and expect college sports and even at the mid-major level to survive. This is crazy. And the UCLA women's coach is trying to tell you, it's just never ending. She said there's going to be more coaches that just end up bagging it. Her point was, I've never been as tired as I am right now. It's just nonstop money. Relationships, recruiting, trying to keep kids happy, not transferring, paying more kids. They want more money. I mean, it's just out of control. And people say, well, this is the way it is. Yeah, the players get paid. That's a good thing. I'm okay with you paying players. Here's an idea, and I wonder where you guys are at. Okay, I'm not the first to come up with this. People have been throwing this out there, so I'm just going to add on to it. Should there actually be buyouts for players like there is coaches? So perfect example is today, Will Wade, who's the head coach at North Carolina State, is just leaving, and he's going to go to LSU. So, hey, great job, Will. Will came in at NC State 1 year, and he's in the transfer portal, and Will Wade's heading to LSU, where he was the coach before. Remember, he's making nice offers to players back in the day when you, wink, wink, shouldn't have been doing it, Will. But nonetheless, now it's all clean and good. So Will Wade was at LSU. He left. He had to go to McNeese State. He was as far down as McNeese State. Then he got the NC State job. He left for that. Now he got the LSU job again. He leaves for that. So people will like to say, oh, the coaches do it. Why are you picking on the players? there has to be the same type of contracts and buyouts for both. How can we not work on that? Making hard decisions, getting some leaders in a room and saying, this is absolutely out of control. It's ridiculous. This isn't the free market. There's no contracts. There's no leadership to say, we have to stop this. And it's easy. Make it a contract situation with NIL payments, and then you have buyouts. So when South Dakota State loses their starting player, there's a buyout number in each player's money. How can that not be the case? It's because people are pansies. NCAA is scared. Everybody's worried about everybody else, and I don't want to do it. What about lawsuits? Well, we're in good shape, so why do I care about everyone else in the world of college sports? And everybody wusses out. And I'm telling you, that's the only way this is going to work to slow down the transferring mess, to slow down the NIL payments, which are just out of control, pay to play. $50 million a year now for college football rosters, says Kyle Whittingham. That's at Michigan. He said, we're going to end up with 50 million rosters here soon. So should players have buyout fees that need to be paid? Because Will Wade just had that at NC State. That's why I don't get mad about these coaches, really. Jimmy Rogers, right? He was at Washington State 1 year, and he's gone. He's going to Iowa State. There's a buyout in there. So you got to pay that. The college that loses their coach has to get some money for that loss because they had the coach. How about South Dakota State, NDSU, whoever, USD? If you're going to get this player, there's a buyout fee, and here's what it is. It's set. It's got to take leaders that actually give a rip. And I don't know if you're going to, I'm not telling you it's the perfect world. We all don't live in a perfect world. It's a mess. But this is the only way you're going to be able to, I guess, remedy the situation, because it's not just the Summit League complaining anymore. It's not just that. It's UCLA's women's coach who dominates. They dominate. She's complaining this afternoon. She says I don't know how long I can do this. And so coaches have been leaving. You've been seeing that. Some of the older coaches are just like, forget it. This is ridiculous. And then we just kind of let it go. We just keep letting this go because the NCAA is absolutely terrible. The conference commissioners of the big conferences, they're just in it. You want to talk about money. They just want the money, and nobody wants to step up and lead. You got to make some hard calls here. Otherwise, I think there is going to be fans that do get upset, donors that get upset. You're going to see mid-majors just really, really struggle. It's getting bad right now. It's getting bad, not just for the mid-majors, the big boys. So my question of the day is, you have to support a buyout fee, right? If coaches do this, why wouldn't we do that for players? Like, that's a no-brainer to me. So that's my question of the day. That's the only way I can think this would work. And then I'm not going to get into I'm not going to argue with the attorneys today, which I understand there's attorneys and you got to do this right. I'm not going down the employee stuff. I'm not talking about employees. Just with NIL, can you not have a contract if you're paying somebody NIL money? You got to have a contract there. So when that player leaves in that contract, there is a buyout. And wherever that player goes, that college that loses the player gets paid money. How many? If there's attorneys out there, why isn't somebody hitting this hard? Why isn't somebody hitting this hard? It's like, hey, we got to start implementing it, because then they're just getting pushed out the door by the big guys. They don't want it. The best of the best don't want this. They're not realizing the rest of the college basketball world and college football world is just deteriorating. No, it's not in the best place it's ever been. I think the games are great. I'm loving watching the games. It's great. But the model is not the best it's ever been. It's in bad shape right now. Let's see. Listener text coming in. Whatever happened to getting a full ride scholarship by earning it and making your way to the big time to make the big bucks? This is way out of hand. it's pricing all the fans out of being able to enjoy the sports. Greed is an evil thing. That's interesting. So, yeah, you wonder, is that why everything's getting more expensive at college games? Is that tickets, everything like this? Because the university's got to fill the gap and feed the bulldog? Let's see here. Lister text, I bet it's the same story for Sundance Wicks in Wyoming. Totally stressed, having to try and keep players. Yeah, I mean, it's all over the map. It's all over the map. If you got UCLA's women's coach saying, this is the worst I've ever felt, she's got one of the top teams. Everyone thinks, well, if you're the big guy, it's really good. It's all good. You got to just always worry about the next best thing. Well, this player's not getting enough this, not getting enough that. They can get this here. They can get that there. Okay, we can't sustain it. Can't sustain it. So the idea is buyouts for players. Would you support that? I mean, I'm all in on that. Question of the day, 605-720-1067. There's buyouts for coaches. Those are just standard. And that's why I don't get ticked. I mean, Will Wade is what he is. Went to McNeese State, went to NC State, back to LSU. It's like, that is what he is. But there's buyouts all along the way. That's the huge difference right now between coaches in movement and players in movement. So don't give me the coaches. Coaches get to leave. Players should get to leave. Coaches have buyouts. There's a fee that's paid. It's a penalty. Players have nothing. There's nothing. I mean, it's just out of control. Got to have player buyouts, right? That's my question of the day. Should there be player contracts with buyouts? Would that help the transfer portal mess? 73% of you say, yes, the school needs to pay the school. School pays the school that loses the player. 27% of you say, no, it's the free market. Well, you still got to have some rules on a free market. Still got to have some rules. Andrew Downs covering Iowa and Nebraska tonight. Coming up, he is with Iowa Everywhere. His podcast is called Buckets. Andrew Downs talking Hawkeyes, Huskers on the way.
This is the Nate
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Upgrade early and save more with Renewal by Andersen. Margin of savings when you buy one window or door and get the second 40% off. With no money down, no interest, and no payments for 12 months, you can upgrade your home to energy-efficient Acclaim replacement windows and our stunning ensemble entry doors. And the best part is you pay nothing until 2027. Your first spring upgrade starts here, so don't wait. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place? It's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait? There's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute, and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
Are there as many kinds of vehicles as there are kinds of people? We think so. At Black Hills Federal Credit Union, we help all kinds of people come together with all kinds of vehicles. With loans made to fit everyone and every ride.
Welcome back in. South Dakota Sports Talk Show live on Fox Sports Radio. Big Thursday, man. You got a lot tonight. Huskers, Hawkeyes coming up. Major League Baseball opening day. My Cubbies lose. That's nice, but a lot more games left. We're okay. We're all right. A lot to cover. Thursday happy hours coming up. National radio host Rob Kegron is our guest every Thursday in the second hour. He's coming in. Thursday happy hour with Rob Kegron. Chris Denker's on the way, former D1 head coach, pro basketball scout with Net Scouts basketball. Chris Denker breaking down the Sweet 16. Let's go to Hawkeyes Huskers. Let's go in depth. Huskers, Hawkeyes tonight at an hour. His podcast is Buckets. It's part of Iowa Everywhere. Have you been following this? If you're a Hawkeyes fan, you should. Buckets, IowaEverywhere.com. It's Andrew Downs on the Nate Brown Show across South Dakota. Andrew, welcome in. How are you?
I'm doing well, Nate. Thank you for having me.
Appreciate your time. Here we go, an hour away. You're ready to go. Let me ask you, are you glad the Hawkeyes are playing the Huskers tonight?
Glad it may be too strong. I do think it adds a lot to the story. I think it adds a lot to the excitement. It certainly makes it a rivalry game, the rubber match between these two teams this season. If as a Hawkeye fan, if I had my way, I'd probably rather see a team that hasn't played Iowa twice, that maybe would be, like Florida was, surprised by Iowa's physicality, toughness. Nebraska is not looking ahead. They're not looking past this team. They know what they're getting into, and there's a lot on the line for the Huskers beyond just a trip to the Elite Eight within this rivalry, which isn't just in basketball, but in football and women's basketball and everywhere else. And so there's the part of me that works next to a Nebraska fan that loves this part of it. But if I'm being honest and giving Iowa a better chance to win, I'd probably rather see a team out of the ACC or the SEC.
Okay, that's interesting. So tell me what Ben McCollum has brought here. He comes over from Drake. We've seen him. What has he brought to Iowa to take them this far?
It's storybook stuff, Nate. It really is. I mean, to have this guy who grew up a Hawkeye fan, kind of, I don't want to say toiled in Division II because he was dominating Division II, and clearly he wanted to be there for as long as he was. But to make the move to Drake, and that's when really most Hawkeye fans learned about him, saw what he did with Drake last year. And then as soon as that job came open just over a year ago, when Darren DeVries, who I think was most Hawkeye fans' first choice, took the Indiana job, everybody kind of moved to this Ben McCullum. And then you see this picture, if you haven't seen it, of him as a child with Dr. Tom Davis, who's the last coach to take Iowa to a Sweet 16 in his final year as Hawkeyes coach. And so there was this hope that, hey, McCollum is known as this kind of coaching genius. He's a Hawkeye fan. He gets it here. Maybe he is the guy to kind of take Iowa to the next level. I don't think anybody expected it to happen in year one. And so the storybook part of this, for him to, in his first year, take Iowa to a Sweet 16 and really reinvigorate the fan base around Hawkeye basketball. I was a defender of Fran McCaffrey for a lot longer than many Iowa fans, but the Fran McCaffrey teams weren't bad, and he didn't lose his job because the teams couldn't compete. He lost his job because the fans stopped caring. And it took several months, Nate, for this fan base to really kind of get back on board. And what we've seen over these last few days, now that Iowa has reached this next level in the NCAA tournament for the first time in 27 years, this fan base is like fully on board, fully committed to Ben McCollum. The ticket sales are going to be great next year. I'm sure the merch sales are going nuts. This is a fan base that has always loved football, and in recent years has kind of turned its attention to women's basketball, and understandably so with Caitlin Clark and that program. But to have this men's basketball team back at the forefront, back in the national spotlight, it's really hard to put into words what this means to Hawkeye Nation.
Iowa playing Nebraska coming up in an hour. Sweet 16, IowaEverywhere.com for the coverage with Andrew Downs. He's on tonight. Check out his show, Buckets, talking Hawkeye hoops. So I saw this, Nebraska's NIL for basketball, $4.5 million. Well, can you compete with that like they did, I guess?
It's interesting, and this is a whole new world, and we're all kind of finding our way through it. The thing I like most about what Ben McCollum has said about NIL and about the type of player he wants to get is these aren't necessarily the highest priced guys, and he's not necessarily looking for McDonald's All-Americans and five-star guys who are going to need several $1 million. And I'm sure Fred Hoiberg in Nebraska are the same. It's hard to say you're a have-not when you're in the Big Ten because you're not, right? You're one of the big dogs, but you're still in the middle of that pack, Nate. And so, you see the resources that Indiana has and Michigan has, and then, obviously a lot of the big schools in the other conferences. You need to be smart with your money at the level that Iowa and Nebraska are, and I think both of these coaches have been. You find the type of player who can commit to your system, who can buy in, and who will maybe stay there for more than a year or two and develop within that system. And that's what's brought Ben McCollum success in his other stops. And so we'll see how this plays out as we move forward and kind of where, again, those haves and have-nots line up. But I think as of right now, I think both of these schools have made the most out of the money they do have. And then runs like this are just going to make it easier. It's just going to make the donors want to put more money into the program, and that's ultimately going to help a lot as well.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. Huskers basketball's reportedly $4.5 million for NIL budget. They're in the Sweet 16 tonight. Huskers, Hawkeyes coming up. So speaking of players getting money, my question of the day, Andrew, I'm going to ask it to you. Should there be buyout fees for player NIL contracts paid to the college like coaches?
There's got to be something, right? There has to be some level of commitment from these players that they can't just back out and take all the money. They can't just move on after a year when they've kind of ingrained themselves, certainly in like the business and donor communities within these universities. I do like that idea. I'll say I think that makes a lot of sense. It gets sticky though because these guys aren't employees and they're not under contract, and so really like the structure from the NCAA or whoever can actually input some or implement some level of structure within this needs to start with that, with some framework of a contract, of a collective bargaining agreement, whatever that looks like. And I know the schools and the NCAA don't want to make these guys employees because that opens a whole other can of worms. But we've gotten to the point where we need to have some level of framework where the schools can't get hurt by it and the players can't get hurt by it. It would ultimately be better for most of these players if they did have some level of contract, some level of commitment, certainly some collective bargaining. And so, yeah, I like that idea. Honestly, Nate, at this point, I'm willing to throw just about anything at the wall and see if it sticks because it's just gotten so out of hand. It's kind of hard to wrap your head around at this point.
No, I'm with you on it. I said I think that's like one of the only answers, but there's no leader that wants to step in and take risk and make people upset, and no conference commissioner in the big boys is going to say, yeah, let's do this. And so we're just out of control. Michigan head coach on the football side said they're going to hit $50 million a year for NIL coming up. Okay, really
cool. Schools like Iowa and Nebraska and Iowa State and the Dakotas are not going to be enough to make change. And the schools that do have the power, the Ohio States, the Michigans of the world, don't want the change, right? They're doing just fine spending $50 million a year on their football roster. And so that's one of the difficulties, too, is the change is going to have to come from those top levels. And right now, there's no incentive for them to do that.
No, I'm with you. So I asked this question. A lot of Big Ten teams left, including Huskers, Hawkeyes tonight. Andrew, if I said you get a Big Ten team for a national title or the field, what are you taking?
I'm afraid I'm going to have to take the field, and as a Big Ten fan, I wish I could say the other way. Because it's been so long since the Big Ten has had a national championship, and like Iowa not getting to a Sweet 16, that does hang over the head of this conference. Regardless of how many teams you get to this level, regardless of how many teams you have in the top 10 throughout the season, until you're able to rise up and win that national championship, that's just that bar that hasn't been cleared in 26 years now or so. That being said, I don't think the best teams are in the Big Ten in this tournament right now. I like Arizona. I like Houston. I like Duke. Michigan, I think, is the one team out of the Big Ten that could make that run. But as I sit here in Des Moines, Iowa, I worry about that game against Iowa State potentially on Sunday. And so if you give me the 6 teams out of the Big Ten or the field, I'm probably taking the field.
All right. We had that bet this week as well. My co-host took the field as well. A lot of Big Ten teams left, but you're saying probably not. Okay, Andrew Downs, IowaEverywhere.com. Great coverage of the Hawkeyes and more. His show is called Buckets. What happens tonight in an hour? What happens?
I think it's a heck of a game. I think we've seen 2 really good games against these teams. I think there's a lot of pressure, certainly on Nebraska to win this game, but really on both teams. I think it's going to come down to the end and kind of who can make those big plays. I lean the Hawkeyes, and the biggest reason is because Bennett Sturts. I think he's the best player on the court tonight, and he hasn't had the kind of All-American level game yet in this tournament that most people have expected. Now, don't get me wrong. He's played well, and the things he does on the floor beyond scoring are super important. Dictating the offense and the tempo, keeping a level head in those pressure-packed moments, taking the attention of the defense off of some of the other guys and distributing the ball and allowing other Hawkeyes to make big plays. But at some point, Bennett Sturts is going to have to hit a big shot. He was 0 of 9 from 3 against Florida. You're not going to see that again tonight. I think it's going to come down to the final minute. I think the ball is going to be in Bennett Sturts' hands, and I think he's going to make a legacy play where his 1 year in Iowa City is one that all Hawkeye fans remember. Give me the Hawkeyes in a close game.
That close. Okay, that'll be a showdown. Tonight, it's coming up. He covers the Hawkeyes, does a great job. Find his show, Buckets, YouTube, and IowaEverywhere.com. Andrew Downs, he's on X at Andrew C. Downs, and he's here on the Nate Brown Show. Andrew, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Anytime, Nate. Anytime. Appreciate you.
Andrew Downs on tonight's South Dakota Sports Talk Show on Fox Sports Sioux Falls, Fox Sports Rapid City. Andrew Downs, find his show, Buckets, talking Hawkeye Hoops, IowaEverywhere.com. He takes the Hawkeyes. What do you say? What do you say? I don't know. Huskers are favored. I saw the latest one was at 2.5. Huskers by 2.5. And then we saw that this afternoon. Huskers NIL budget for basketball, $4.5 million. One of the lowest. Is that the lowest in the Big Ten, I think they said? So that's a low number for the Huskers. Can they pump some more money in? What? Look at the Huskers making the Sweet 16. How much does Matt Rule have for football? How much does he have? What do we have to show for that, Matt? My goodness. Fred Hoiberg taking $4.5 million to the Sweet 16? Look out. Okay, Andrew Downs liked my question of the day. Would you make the players that transfer have buyout fees that are paid to the colleges when they transfer? Yeah, should there be player contracts for this NIL? I mean, there's nothing. Imagine that. You can get money to come to a place for a year. You're just hoping that they do a good job, they stick it out, and you're paying this money, and then they can go to another place and get even more money. So shouldn't there be buyouts for players like coaches? That's what I'm asking. Seems like an easy one, but so difficult to have people step up and do the right thing. Everybody's, we're going to get sued by a player. Because the players whine and cry and they do all sorts. We need unlimited transfers, unlimited money. Isn't this fun? You guys like this? I was for transferring. I was for some money. Not unlimited. You can't have unlimited. It's unbelievable. All right, let's see if we've got him. Do I have him? Oh, I lost him. All right. We had a call coming in. I was going to get you on. Hit us on the text line. 605-720-1067 is the number. Let's go to Chris Denker. He's been in this. He's a D1 college coach. He was a former D1 head coach now. Okay? Santa Clara. And he is a pro basketball scout. He's been with Team USA. He runs his own AAU club now in San Jose, California. He's with Net Scouts Basketball. He knows hoops. Would he agree with a player buyout like coaches have? Chris Denker coming up.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
Want to do more of what you love and earn cash back doing it? With a Visa Cashback credit card from Black Hills Federal Credit Union, it's possible. Earn 1.5% cash back on everyday purchases like gas and groceries, and use it to fund your shoe obsession, vinyl collection, or airline upgrade. Plus, spend $2,000 in your first 90 days and get a $200 cashback bonus. Learn more at bhfcu.com/cashback. Offer subject to credit approval. Other restrictions apply.
When you win the new Millionaire for Life daily draw game from the South Dakota Lottery, you don't just win $1 million a year for the rest of your life. You win the chance to do whatever you want, like bring a hot dog cannon to a wedding reception. But just because you could, doesn't mean you should. What would you do if you became a millionaire for life, playing Millionaire for Life from the South Dakota Lottery?
Good fun. Must be 18 to play. Please play responsibly.
The Honda Certified Dream Deal sales event is on at Denny Menno Rushmore Honda. Get financing as low as 0.99% APR on Honda Certified Pre-Owned Civics, CRVs, HRVs, and Passports. Plus, shop a lot full of used imports and domestics. Virtually any maker model, including a great selection of all-wheel drive and 4x4 trucks and SUVs. See us at Denny Menno Rushmore Honda or RushmoreHonda.com. Length of finance contract is limited. With qualified credit, expires 4/30/26.
Being in business has its rewards as well as its challenges. It means being the first one in the door in the morning and turning off the lights when you leave at night. Your business is unique, and you need a bank that understands your needs. You deserve the best. You need a financial partner that is invested in your success. You need Pioneer Bank and Trust. Don't settle. Pioneer. Pioneer Bank and Trust. Local.
Pioneer Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
In the past, if you needed auto body repair, you had to get multiple estimates and then try to get your car into a shop for repair. Well, not anymore. In most cases, you can stop by one shop, get your estimate, and schedule your car for a repair. The question now becomes which shop you choose. If you like quality, choose J&J Truck and Auto Body. They have ASE, PPG, and Gold I-CAR certifications that allow them to offer you a nationwide warranty. And they'll work with your insurance company so you're pleased with the outcome. J&J Truck and Auto Body, 1513 East Philadelphia.
Hi, this is Jeremy with Jerry's Cakes and Donuts, inviting you to kickstart your morning by dropping by and grabbing some fresh donuts. I want to thank you for voting us the best in the Black Hills. We're up early making your favorite donuts, so stop by and bring some to the office. Everybody loves Jerry's Cakes and Donuts, and we love you, so stop by, get a great selection, and brighten up your day. Serving Rapid City for over 40 years, Jerry's Cakes and Donuts at 109 East Omaha, and remember to like Jerry's on Facebook for some great giveaways.
So, I just got the State Farm Personal Price Plan on my car insurance.
So you told your agent you play the bagpipes for your dog?
What? No, I didn't get that personal. My agent just helped me create an affordable price just for me. Okay, let me show you what I've been working on. Hey, Buster!
Contact me, State Farm agent Scott Carlson, to create your personal price plan today.
Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
Live callers, big-time interviews, and breaking sports news. This is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown.
Welcome back in the Nate Brown Show, live across the state. Fox Sports Radio affiliates, KWSN Sioux Falls. Glad you're here. Fox Sports Rapid City. Appreciate it. The Nate Brown Show on live tonight. You can stream us on X at Nate Brown Show. Watch us live on your phone. If you get out of radio range, go to X. Follow us at Nate Brown Show. Watch us live right now across South Dakota. We appreciate you checking in. And remember, our YouTube channel is live right now. The Nate Brown Show on YouTube. Chris Denker's on tonight, former D1 head coach, basketball scout, Net Scouts basketball. Let's talk Sweet 16 and more. Chris, welcome in. How are you?
Great. Thanks, Nate. Thanks for having me.
I appreciate it, man. I've got a question of the day here. You got a unique perspective. You've been a coach. You have a son that plays. So I want your read on this. So here's how I can figure out trying to slow down the transfer portal. The UCLA women's coach even just today said she's more tired than she's ever been. And she's not like saying, oh, it's just about me. It's just nonstop. It's money. It's players. It's who's leaving, who's coming. It's just nonstop. She said, we got to get this stuff under control. That's a big women's program. I mean, they're one of the top teams. So here's how we can do this, I think. But nobody will step up and do it. Players, why don't they have buyout fees with their NIL like coaches? Why? I mean, is that even feasible? I'm not talking employees. I'm just talking NIL contracts with buyout fees like Will Wade leaving today for LSU. There's a buyout fee. Why can't we do this for players?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think there's 3, 4, 5 bullet points just to try to be quick with it that would need to be addressed, absolutely just need to be addressed, and that is contracts. Okay, they can't just come and go. Yes, the NCAA says you get a free transfer or whatever the case may be, but when? Okay, you got to stay at least a year, or really it should be more like a 2-year thing. And when I say at least a year, I mean you can't just leave. The portal hasn't even opened yet officially. I think it opens on the 7th. And there's already well over 1,000 guys, in it.
Right.
And what I also mean by that is they've already also chosen where they're going to go next. Well, how? The portal's not even open per se. So that's what I mean when I say 1 year. Really, I think contractually they ought to commit them to 2, especially with the kind of money that they're getting. These $2 to $4 million deals. Commit to a couple of years, and then the second part of that is then have a buyout. Okay. You could have provisions. Will Wade leaves, NC State players can leave. Okay, fine. Just add these little provisions in there, and you're good to go. But make them kind of also learn, them being the players, what a pro contract's like. You can't just come and go as you please. And you are under contract. You are restricted. You have buyouts or you have fees that you have to pay your agent, et cetera. Let them start to learn what that's like, because frankly, many of these guys aren't going to make the money they're making right now when they get into the professional world, even professional basketball. But if they go to be an insurance salesman, they're not going to make $1 million like they are right now playing for whoever. So I think that there's kind of some of these bullet points we got to tick and say, okay, hey, there's got to be some contracts. You got to commit to a certain length of the time. There's a buyout if you try to get out of that and leave or leave early, and some of these sorts of things. I would agree with you on that.
Does this help Big Sky Conference schools, Summit League schools? Those are just 2 examples. The mid-majors that lose their best players because they all of a sudden have great players now. Everybody sees them. They have a great tournament, and then they get a 6-figure deal somewhere. So if those smaller schools got paid, would that at least help them with some resources to try and keep some guys, or at least attract some other guys?
Yeah, having very close knowledge of it. As you said, I have a son who is just finishing his senior year of eligibility, and and was offered some NIL money and things like this. He also had teammates. He plays at the school where Dalton Connect, who made it really, I think newsworthy when he left Northern Colorado to go to Tennessee and made big money. But he also played really, really well and made big headlines as an All-American type player. And so it was, where'd this guy come from? Well, now you got Oscar Clough, right there, South Dakota State, and now he's playing for Purdue tonight. So guys that are getting, Zeke Mayo that went to KU, and guys that are getting, good money to leave, as you said, quality basketball conferences like the Big Sky and the Summit, but also, throw in there when your WCC Tech guys leave. St. Mary's coach just left at Arizona State, and now every guy at St. Mary's who's been, an outstanding program for a long time, they're all entering the portal, and so you're seeing this. Now back to Corey's comments. I know Corey coached close at UCLA pretty well, and I think what that is indicating, and I even heard this from the Northern Colorado coaches. They said, "Well, I'd love to be able to go on a vacation, but they got work to do because they've got to jump in the portal now to try to recruit guys for next year's team and so on." And what I think needs to happen is I think every one of these teams needs to every school needs to pony up some of that NIL money or whatever it is and hire another person. And whether you want to call it a general manager or whether you want to call it a roster, assistant coach for roster management, you want to call it an NIL director, you want to call it whatever you want to call it. They can also, watch film and scout and do some things for you or whatever, but you need somebody who could just be doing the portal stuff and kind of looking at rosters. What are we going to have in the way of capology? How much money are we going to have in our thing? And, some of these schools have money and some of them don't. And back to what you said, the mid-majors, the Big Skies and Summits don't even have anywhere close to even what one player is making. If you saw the thing the other day, the Kentucky kid who scored 20 points all season, and he made $2 million. It's $100,000 a point. But if his NIL money alone was at any team in the Big Sky, they'd have won the Big Sky. Yeah. They don't have that money. They don't have $2 million in there. So anyway, my point is that I think these schools need to create another coach, another person who can do those things for them, so that the coaches can just coach. And they're trying to win a national championship at UCLA on the women's side, or if you're Iowa or Nebraska on the men's, they're playing right now. Why would they want to be in the portal looking at who they're going to have next year and how much money can they pay that guy? It's just crazy.
I think, the unlimited money, the unlimited transfer is just out of control. I asked, would you have players with buyouts to pay the colleges that they leave from? 71% of my audience has chimed in on the poll saying, yes, schools should pay the school that loses the player. 29% say, no, it's the free market. Chris Daker's on tonight, former D1 head coach. Let's get into the Sweet 16. Who do you think's the best team right now? Who's the number one team right now still for you?
Wow, that's a great question because I think a lot of good teams are still left. I think that I've been saying this for a few weeks. I think that when I looked at my bracket, there were 3 teams that jumped out at me that were clear-cut Final Four and legitimately have a chance to win it. And then I had 3 or 4 others that I thought could make the Final Four, but are going to need to play, their best. And then even then, I'm not sure if they can win it. So my top team is Arizona, but I think Arizona, Michigan, and Duke are those 3 kind of elites for me. Now, Duke struggled a little bit in the earlier rounds, but those would be my elite 3, and then I have a few others behind them.
What do you think, Illinois, Houston?
Yeah, so now Houston's I like both teams, but Houston's one of my teams for a couple of reasons. One, they can make the game ugly. They've been there before. They're tough. They're competitive. And they're playing. They're not in their home arena, but they're in their hometown. And I think that's going to matter. I really think it's going to matter in terms of just the extra fans that maybe can pick up tickets. They're sleeping in their own beds, perhaps. Just the whole thing. I really think Houston playing in Houston is a huge motivating point for them.
Chris Daker on tonight. How surprised were you that Florida went down to Iowa?
Well, I like Iowa. Florida was one of those teams for me that was maybe a top. Like I said, Duke, Arizona, Michigan, Florida was right behind them. I like Iowa State a lot,
okay.
And I think St. John's is one that's sneaky. You know, UConn has fallen off for me in that regard. I think that they're still good, but I don't know that they shoot it well enough to be one of those elites. And so, but I like Iowa, and so I think this game, Iowa-Nebraska, is going to be phenomenal. Of course, they've already played, and there's rivalry there. I think that's a heck of a game.
Chris Denker on tonight. Last one, first game out of the gates, Texas-Purdue. Can Texas keep winning here?
Well, I think they can. I think they have the players to do it, the talent to do it. You know, we talked about NIL earlier. Texas athletic budget is enormous, and so they can compete. But Purdue, kind of like Nebraska and Iowa and some of these teams, I really like how they play. Again, tough-minded guys, older guys. You know, the two bigs came up. Clough was huge for them the other night, and then, of course, they have the point guard that can dictate things. The guy for Purdue is when Lawyer scores like he has been lately, they're really, really good. And again, I think with a lot of these teams, it's can you make shots consistently? And some of them make good shooters and some of them don't. Purdue's guy is Lawyer. So if he can do that, I think they beat Texas.
Sweet 16 starting up tonight. A lot of people wondering, Hawkeyes, Huskers, how's this going to go down? Big one tonight. Chris Denker on NetScoutsBasketball.com, former D1 coach. Always great, Chris. Thanks a lot.
Appreciate it, Nate.
Appreciate your time talking hoops with Chris Denker on the Nate Brown Show tonight. Former D1 head coach at Santa Clara. Net Scouts Basketball, professional basketball scout. All right. That's interesting. He said, you got to figure out something with the contracts with the players. NIL contracts. And I mean, I think somebody just needs to, I mean, everybody talks about this. I do this stuff all the time, and I hear this roundtable, and then you had this commission, and then they went and talked on at the White House, and nobody does crap. I mean, it's true. Nobody does anything. We can't even get through the airports, right? I mean, it's just unbelievable. Nobody does anything. Nothing. And so everybody keeps talking about, this, and nobody ever makes a hard decision. You gotta be willing to step out there and make some decisions. Conference commissioners with the NCAA actually do something. It's like that meme with the stick. Do something. Jason Ander is in next. SDPB Sports. Boy, do I have a mythical basketball game that I'd like to discuss. South Dakota media members like me, what if we took on West Central's undefeated boys team? This is just something that I was called on last night, and I thought, I'm going to get into this for some fun here. Jason Andera, SDPB Sports, on the way.
This is the Nate Brown.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Upgrade early and save more with Renewal by Andersen. March into savings when you buy one window or door and get the second 40% off. With no money down, no interest, and no payments for 12 months, you can upgrade your home to energy-efficient acclaim replacement windows and our stunning ensemble entry doors. And the best part is you pay nothing until 2027. Your first spring upgrade starts here, so don't wait. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place that's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait, there's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute, and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
There are 1 billion credit card transactions around the world every day. That's 11,698 swipes a second. It's easy to forget that behind each one, there's a person, a family, a dream, a connection being made. The Black Hills Federal Credit Union Visa, for members who want to make the most of every transaction.
Now on X. Follow us and watch the show live at Nate Brown Show.
Welcome back in. The Nate Brown Show is on tonight. Glad you're here. I appreciate you every day tuning in. Fox Sports Radio. Jason Adair is back on tonight. High school basketball season, it's over. It's done. That's it. We're on to spring sports, but we got to let's talk a little hoops one more time with Jason Andera, SDPB Sports. He's on X at 605 Jandy. His show, he's covered high school hoops and football and the whole scene. Game time. Jason, I've got a question for you. Speaking of game time, I got a big question here I'm going to get into because I was called last night and I was asked about a mythical basketball game. And I thought, what if this happened? Let's throw it out there. If South Dakota media had a team and we had Victor Wembanyama, a bunch of old guys, with Wemby, and we played the West Central undefeated boys right here, right now, full court, who would win? I'm going to put you on the team. Myself, Matt Kearney, I'm going to put Zimmer on there. I'm going to put Stu Whitney on there, for example. Could we beat West Central with Wemby on our team?
This is one of the easier questions you've asked me in a long time, Nate. You've given me some tough ones, but this one is clearly the media and Wemby.
What?
With the victory. Clearly. Now, hang on. Explain this,
because I don't know if it's clear. I'm thinking about our teammates here. I don't know.
Well, we've never played basketball together, have we, Nate?
No, we have not.
But I'm pretty sure I could handle Connor Mebius, and Wemby could handle Will Cool.
Oh,
and the rest of you guys. I mean, the rest of you guys would make it work because we would be doing our job.
Okay, so that's interesting. I put Stu Whitney in here, legendary sports writer, Matt Zimmer in here. So Wemby should score every time. Is that correct? I mean, could we have Wemby score every time?
I mean, yes. I think we could. I think a couple of moves. I think, Will Cool does make it tougher, for sure.
Yes.
Just because of his length. He makes it tougher. But I do think Wemby would be able to figure that out.
Okay.
And And then, we'd have to worry defensively a little bit because they can shoot the ball from the outside.
See, that's my
again,
question.
We have me and you, Nate. So.
Oh, okay. Well, I've slowed down quite a bit. I hate to break it to you. So I did play in a state championship in Montana. So I started 2 years. I played in a state championship. So I got basketball experience. I've slowed down a lot. What happens? Okay, life happens. But. Could we keep up? Could we stop them defensively? Because Wemby would have to help a lot, and that would open up Will Cool. I mean, you said you could stop Mebius. I'm not buying it.
Well,
I'm not buying it.
Well, I mean, I could handle it. I know I'm getting myself into a lot of trouble here because you can talk all you want until you have to do it, right? So I'll talk.
Okay.
I think I could handle Connor Mebius. Yeah.
Wow.
But we'd have, Wemby taking up the middle. He takes up the entire middle. So all we got to worry about is the perimeter defensively. And I think I still have it.
Okay, that's big. We would definitely win the talking game. I know that. So mythical basketball game. South Dakota Media with Victor Wembanyama against the West Central boys this year, who went 25-0. The audience is answering. Can you believe this? 73% are voting for Wemby and the old guys. 27% say West Central rolls. Now that's interesting. Wow. I thought we would get trolled on X. I thought we'd get taken down on X, but not yet. Okay, let's go to some real stuff. So I had Mitch Begeman on yesterday, and Sioux Falls Roosevelt head boys basketball coach. He's been there a decade, head coach. He steps down. He's just going to do something else. He said he had a great experience. It's time to do something else. What do you think about Mitch Begeman's announcement there and his time at Roosevelt?
I have not been able to talk to Mitch yet, so I'm going to have to go back and listen to your conversation. But it's just going to be harder and harder to find the Dave Hollenbecks, the Derek Robies, the people who stick with high school basketball for a long time and are very good at it. It's such a demanding job for what you get out of it financially, partly, and there's a lot to deal with. So it takes somebody pretty unique to be able to do that for a long time. For him to give 10 good years to it, now that he's got an older family, I'm sure that has part of, definitely has weighed into his decision, family-wise, what he's going to miss by being a high school coach. And to me, it just tells me the culture of high school coaching is going to look a lot different in the next couple decades than it has in the last couple of decades.
I am with you on that.
It's so demanding.
Yeah, I'm with you on that because I asked last night, Jason, I said, is 10 years that feels like a long time for a high school basketball coach these days.
It does, and, Mitch was able to start fairly young, so for him to be able to do that and then coach 10 full years, I mean, that's a good run for him. And it's we've had a couple coaches step down. Derek Roby coached his last game in the tournament here. Pat McClemens coached his last game in the AA tournament last week, and now we find out, Mitch Begeman, and another guy who's decided to hang it up. So it's going to be tougher for these schools to find really good coaches for a long period of time.
Jason Andera on tonight. He is with SDPB Sports, high school sports analyst. His show is called Game Time. One more cap on this, the West Central run. I picked him to win. I do have to be honest, I was starting to doubt it when I saw Sioux Falls Christian the first two games, the level of play, and I just thought, I don't know if West Central can beat them twice. How impressed were you by twice beating Sioux Falls Christian, winning the State A title, going unbeaten for Hollenbeck and West Central?
Well, it shows you just how tough it was after watching the two tournaments in consecutive weekends, that every undefeated team that came into the tournament, only one got it done, and that was West Central. The Brandon girls couldn't get it done. Makpialuta couldn't get it done. The Lincoln boys couldn't get it done. It is a different game when you step onto a state tournament level of play, and you have to be locked in for 3 days in a row.
Yeah.
And you're right. The Sioux Falls Christian team, I picked them because I really thought they had what it took to shut down a team like West Central, but they were not able to because Brant Wassner, he started out the game guarding Connor Mebius and D'ing him up like I would have, and then he got into foul trouble, and that's when things started to change a little bit, and Mebius ended up leading the West Central Trojans in scoring with 20 points. Will Cool had a solid night, but really the rest of the group for West Central is what ended up winning it for him. The 3 through 5, 6, 7 guys on the roster did a better job than the 3 through 7 guys for Sioux Falls Christian. It was a true team effort, and that's what you get with Dave Hollenbeck. You know, him coming in and setting the tone with that group of talent, man, it worked. It definitely worked.
Yeah, you're right on that. They went into their bench. They got contributions across the board. It was really tough team, defensive team, and they made some huge shots Saturday night in Rapid City. West Central. Hey, by the way, that just answered my question. You just said Brant Wassner. I'm going to say, might be the best player, best prospect in South Dakota right now. Brant Wassner could not keep up with Mebius, so Jason Andera would not keep up with Mebius in the mythical game. I hate to break it to you.
Yeah, upon further reflection, I think you're right, Nate. I think you're right.
I'm just trying to save your ACL or something. Jason, good to have you, man. Thanks a lot.
All right, take care.
See ya. Jason Andera, SDPB Sports, high school sports analyst. Yes, that was the question that I was asked last night about West Central. They went undefeated, right? So I just threw them out. Undefeated, number 1 team. If the South Dakota media put together a team, Nate Brown, Matt Kearney, the great producer. He's scrappy. Might get a lot of fouls. Might foul out in the first 2 minutes, but he's scrappy. Kearney would be there. Matt Zimmer. I'm going to bring Zim into this. I'm going to bring Stu Whitney. He's been a big basketball guy. Jason Andera off the bench. He sounded like he was going to start if he's going to guard Mebius, so good luck. But could we beat the West Central boys with Victor Wembanyama? We've got Wemby. We got 7'5" Wemby on our team. Could we beat the West Central boys? Our question of the day. I'm serious. I'm really not, but I am serious. 605-720-1067. Answer the question of the day. Tell me your feedback. We got Thursday happy hour. It's here. Rob Kegron ready to go next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
How do you make a buffet day even better? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade is your place for good food and good times. Won the big game? Make it a play day. Aced your test? Make it a play day. Just need to get out of the house? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade has all your favorites and all kinds of fun. So bring your family, bring your friends, bring your team. For good food and good times, make it a buffet day and a play day at the Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade.
It seems like the cost of everything is going up, so it's nice to save a little dough when you can, especially for something you love to eat every day. Before I go grocery shopping, I print out a coupon for $1 off any Country Hearth, Village Hearth, or Artisan Hearth bread product. My favorite is Dakota Style 12 grain. My wife's breakfast go-to is a toasted Village Hearth English muffin. We can save $1 on each. Go to countryhearthbreads.com/coupons and print 1 or 2 out before your next shopping trip. And don't forget, Country Hearth, Village Hearth, and Artisan Hearth bread products are baked locally and delivered fresh daily.
Danny Menno Rapid Chevrolet means service. We service all makes and models, even if you didn't buy it from us. Everything from oil changes to more serious repairs. And we sell tires. We'll beat anyone's price on the same exact tires and free rotations for the life of the tires. And if you find yourself in need of some body work, our body shop is gold certified and we can put any make or model back in shape. See us at Danny Menno Rapid Chevrolet or DannyMennoRapidChevrolet.com.
Ready to be part of something big? Meet the Rapid City Sports Commission, the powerhouse behind sports in Rapid City. The commission focuses on bringing regional and national tournaments, supporting homegrown events, and creating opportunities for our kids. But it's not just games, it's a win-win for all of us. Youth sports fuel our economy. Hosting events in Rapid City means out-of-town families shop, dine, and stay with us, which boosts sales tax revenues too. To get in on the action, visit rcsportscommission.com, where we're all about the hustle.
Hi, I'm Tim Wrench, and I'm seeking personal injury cases. If you've been injured because someone else did something wrong, call me up. I'm a trial lawyer. I've tried criminal and civil cases for decades, and I can use all of that experience to help you. I also know this. that when insurance companies know that you're represented by a trial lawyer, they take your claim more seriously, and if it is to be settled, it's settled better with a trial lawyer. Wrench Law, 605-341-1111, wrenchlaw.com.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
Who is it?
You're Prince Charming.
Oh, hi.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
I've been calling to you, Rapunzel. Rapunzel, let down your golden hair for days.
I didn't hear you. The witch got the tower new replacement windows from Renewal by Andersen.
Didn't you wonder where I was?
Not really. My new windows are very energy efficient, keeping my tower very comfortable, and they have greatly reduced the noise levels.
What noise? You live in a forest.
Well, a certain needy prince is constantly yelling my name.
Do you not love me anymore?
Oh, quit being so dramatic.
Dramatic? Moi?
Yes, and Renewal by Andersen exclusively offers gorgeous ensemble security doors, safe and durable.
Do they?
You should get them for the castle along with new Acclaim replacement windows.
If I do, will you marry me?
Let's not rush it. And Prince Charming, get the windows for you, not me.
Oh, wait. Windows. For me?
Does your castle need new windows? Discover Acclaim windows and ensemble entry doors, custom fit and exclusive to Renewal by Andersen. Free consultations. Visit rbarapidcity.com.
Hi, this is Dan Patrick. Remember to catch me weekday mornings from 7 until 10 a.m. right here on 106.7 FM and 1150 a.m. Fox Sports Rapid City. And now, back to Rapid City's sports talk show, The Nate Brown Show. Nate?
Welcome back in. The Nate Brown Show is live. We are live on Fox Sports Radio, and it is a Thursday happy hour. I'll tell you this much. We got a lot to cover tonight. We got Major League Baseball opening day. We got March Madness. Games are upon us already. Rob Kegron is live in studio. We are set and out of the gate. Thursday happy hour with Rob Kegron packed. I've got something I'm going to ask you right out of the gate, Rob, because we've talked about it the last couple of days. Last couple of days, people have there's already 1,000 guys in the transfer portal. We're just talking March Madness. We should be talking hoops. We are transfer portal, 1,000 guys. It doesn't open until April 7th, and you got over 1,000 players in. So you've got coaches that are coaching, even, I would say, Huskers, Iowa tonight. I know they're all locked in. They're dialed in. They still have to be thinking this player, that player. So I'm trying to figure out how you slow this down. And people have thrown this out, and I don't know which way people would even step up and do this because some players or some schools don't want to do it. But it's turning out to be a mess, even for some of the big programs. Could you stop players from transferring if you had a buyout for the player to the school, meaning school pays the school, like Will Wade leaving today from NC State? There's a buyout. Yes, he's going to LSU, but it's totally different than players. I'm out. See ya. I'm going somewhere else again the next year. Would it work?
No, I don't think so, Nate. Because well, first of all, I mean, it might slow it down, but let's be fair. Over the last few years, right, the budgets of these NIL budgets have expanded drastically, right? Like, you know, it used to be like you were getting a little bit. Now, I mean, guys are selling, sometimes signing for 7 figures, you know, high 6 figures. Do I think it would slow it down a bit? Yeah. But there's always going to be someone who wants someone else's services. And so I think it wouldn't really stop anything because the schools would just find more NIL money to have to give to those schools. I like the idea.
You do like to, so you would like the idea.
I love the idea because it actually kind of, when I was thinking about this during the day-to-day, it kind of parallels to like compensatory draft picks, right? Like you don't sign your player, he goes signs on another team. This happens in the NFL, happens in baseball, right? Like you get a compensatory draft pick for that. I like that idea. Now, there's no draft in college basketball, so you can't get that. I do like the idea of compensation, particularly to the mid-major schools where it would help them drastically. I think what we've noticed, you're just watching the college basketball tournament, you know, I've watched this a ton. It's all blue bloods now, right? Like, yeah, the little guy has a chance in the first round, maybe, but not much past that because what used to be their strength was that they would keep their players together, right? They would grow together.
Juniors, seniors.
When they were all juniors and seniors, you know, they would have a real chance. You weren't going to see a mid-major team of, you know, 4 freshmen and a sophomore make the tournament. But when they got to be juniors and seniors, they might make the tournament and they could do some damage. Now those same kids, they're there for a year or two and then they're going somewhere else. So I like the idea. I think money begets more money, and I don't see how it would stop it.
Okay, maybe not stop it. I think it could slow it down, could it not?
It could slow it down, for sure, because there would be some programs, right, that would have to be very selective with how they spent their money. And so instead of going and getting 4, 5, 6 players from mid-major schools, maybe they're only getting 1 or 2. And so does it keep those kids in for another year? Yeah, probably. I think it's really more on the kid, right? I think,
you do?
Well, sure.
You're not going to make the kid pay it.
No, but I want the kids to have contracts, right? Like, they want to get paid.
Yes.
You have to live up to your contract, right? And so maybe you only want a 1-year deal, and maybe there'll be schools who will give you a 1-year deal. But if maybe another school says, you know what, I'm going to have to develop this kid a bit. I don't want it for 1 year. I want him for 2 or 3 years. Well, you short of, and there would be caveats to that. Coach leaves, you can leave.
Yes,
right?
yes.
But short of that, I want the kids to sign a what world do we live in where the only athletes? And I don't want them. We're not calling them amateurs anymore. When you're making money, you're a professional athlete.
Big money. Yep.
Okay. Once you start making money for your craft, you should be held to certain standards as well.
I would love to get inside this. I'd love to get inside where we don't have quote-unquote contracts, supposedly. How are these guys getting? Would you love to see how somebody gets paid? The star player at Arkansas, Acuff Jr., I'd love to see how he gets paid. Do they pay him before the season starts? Do they pay him in, here's a chunk, here's another chunk? How do these guys get paid to make sure that they play this out?
That's a great question. Like what in professional sports, you only get paid when you play games that count. Like professional football players, they don't get paid in spring training or in training camp.
Game checks.
They get game checks. Like, that's what keeps you going. You're playing every week. You are playing for something. They don't live week to week, but they live week to week paycheck wise, right? I imagine it does not work like that in college basketball.
I don't think so.
That they're just, and it might be spread out over a couple of payments. That would make sense. Give them something before the season, give them something halfway through, something at the end of the season, so that they can't just walk away from it. But yeah, you're right. It would be fascinating to see, and I would imagine it's not the same for every athlete.
No, it's just different. I mean, everybody's doing their own thing. So you wouldn't have the players pay the school. You would be for the school paying a buyout to the school that loses the player, like a coach. I would as well. I support it. 69% of the audience is voting yes, have player buyouts for the transfer portal. School pays the school that loses the player. 31% of people have said no, just keep it the free market. Well, it's not the free market. It's an out of control. There's no control on the market.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I was just thinking of this. There is a parallel to this, and it's European soccer, right? In European soccer, a team pays the other team to take on that player's contract, right? It happens all the time. They buy the player, right? But they're paying, and I think it's a really good parallel because the big powerhouse soccer clubs, Real Madrid, Barcelona, Manchester City, Arsenal, those kind of teams that people would have least heard of, they're usually buying their players from smaller clubs, right, who have developed under those systems. Those teams are not going to be able to afford them long term, so they get a cash payout of that so that they can keep developing players in their system.
That's the model.
I like it, actually. I just don't know that. I think all it will do is slow things down. But the difference, of course, in European soccer is the players have to sign contracts, right? They can't just get up and say, end of the year, I want to go somewhere else. Like, they can force their way, but they have to sign a contract.
I started the show with this tonight saying nobody wants to lead the way on this because the SEC doesn't care. The Big Ten doesn't care. They don't want to be worried about lawsuits. Some player's going to sue somebody, and then it's going to go all the way to the Supreme Court. Everybody's scared of everything. Nobody wants to make a hard call, a hard decision. Somebody's going to have to do something. There's coaches that are complaining nonstop, even some big coaches. UCLA's women's coach, they're right there with UConn. She said, something's got to change. I mean, this is just never ending. The money and the players going here and there and everywhere. So somebody's going to have to change it. I don't know if what you need is contracts, just NIL. I'm not talking employees. Don't worry about the employee and all the regulations there. NIL, how can you not have a contract that's enforceable with a buyout?
You have to. And there has to be a system. There has to be guardrails in place. You're right. There are a lot of college coaches who are just throwing their hands up and frustrated. I mean, think about a guy like Jay Wright. He still had plenty of great years ahead of him. Didn't want to deal with that nonsense anymore. There are a lot of these coaches who are great coaches but don't want to deal with things that they never had to deal with before.
I think Saban. I think Nick Saban. He doesn't really say it.
That's a great example, Nate. And absolutely, Nick Saban was just fed up with the whole process of how he had to reinvent it every single year, year in and year out. At some point, the problem is the NCAA. You and I both know that. It's just such a poorly run organization. But they're going to have to get on board with a system. And then the players, and this is going to be truly the most difficult part, if you think about how many colleges like there are in this country that play sports, right? Like, it's a crazy number. There's like, for college basketball, there's like 350 Division I schools. Yeah. Think about all those players. There's going to have to be some kind of collective bargaining. Well, who are we bargaining with, right? The players, like, they're going to have to form a union. This is going to become, there are so many ripples and layers to making this work that it's probably 5 to 10 years away, but you got to start somewhere. So I'm okay with starting with your proposal of let's at least give some kind of compensation money.
Colin Cowherd said this morning, college basketball is in one of the best places it's been in. Top players, top teams, they're making money. Sweet 16 is going to be great. I think the basketball is great. I think the model is still bad. If you care about Summit League, if you care about some of this other stuff.
I think even in the big leagues, Nate, like, there's no consistency. I went to college. You and I went to college about the same time, quite a long time ago. But when I went to college at St. John's, I followed the players who started with me as freshmen, right? And followed them through my senior year. And I had, connections. Some of them even I knew, right? You had this connection with these players, these athletes. Well, now that's gone. It's like, I look at the St. John's team that played and lost to Arkansas last year, and then I look at this year's version, right? Ejiofor, right? Other than him, right? Like, that's it.
Pretty much.
It's a whole new team. And even Pitino lamented this over the weekend after they won their second game. It's like, it's just so much. Like, the amount of energy that you have to put into that and not coach is wild.
Rob Cagron in tonight. It is a Thursday happy hour, Sweet 16 getting underway, but I actually have a basketball question that I want Rob's honest opinion on. He may not know some of these big South Dakota media stars, but he does know me, he does know Matt Kearney, and he knows Victor Wembanyama. I've got a mythical basketball matchup that we're having fun with next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Upgrade early and save more with Renewal by Andersen. March into savings when you buy one window or door and get the second 40% off. With no money down, no interest, and no payments for 12 months, you can upgrade your home to energy-efficient Acclaim replacement windows and our stunning ensemble entry doors. And the best part is you pay nothing until 2027. Your first spring upgrade starts here, so don't wait. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place that's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait, there's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
There are 1 billion credit card transactions around the world every day. That's 11,698 swipes a second. It's easy to forget that behind each one, there's a person, a family, a dream, a connection being made. The Black Hills Federal Credit Union Visa, for members who want to make the most of every transaction.
East River to West River, this is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown Show.
It is South Dakota Sports Talk Show live. Glad you're here tonight. Sweet 16 starting up. Let's get after it. Thursday edition. It's happy hour. Rob Keg runs live in studio. South Dakota Sports Talk Show official outfitter is Trav's Outfitter. They have the best selection by far. Work boots, athletic shoes. They got it all, really. Western boots. It's not about a quick sale at Trav's. It's about getting it right. If you're on your feet all day, fit matters. Get into Trav's Outfitter. Experts in work and Western footwear. Selection is great. Best selection, best service, no BS. It's Trav's Outfitter. Love the new store, Campbell Street, Rapid City. Trav'sOutfitter.com. All right, I want you to be honest. Can you be honest? I mean, sometimes I think you can be honest, and then sometimes I think you just come in with your Vikings hate and your Duke hate and all of this stuff. You got Sam Darnold hate. I mean, there's a lot of you would be called a hater in some of this stuff.
I don't consider myself a hater. I consider myself a New Yorker who's filled with piss and vinegar and generally looks at the glass half empty. I'm just being honest because that's what happens when you grow up in a city of 8 million. But I can absolutely be honest. That's a hell of a premise to a segment, Nate. Can you be honest? Most of the time you come in here and
This is what I want to, sometimes I think you just antagonize and you're just trying to get to this. So I've got a question, and I want you to know this, okay? I'm older. I'm out of shape. It happens. It happens. I played in a state championship in Montana. I was a starter. I was a 2-year starter, so give me a break here. So I'm a basketball player. I know basketball. I know hoops. I've watched a ton. I've coached. I've played all that. I've got a South Dakota media team that I put together, and these are old guys now. Me, Matt Kearney. He's not that old, but he's getting up there. He wouldn't tell you, but Matt Kearney, Matt Zimmer from Sioux Falls Live, Stu Whitney, former Argus leader, sports writer. I think he would be the oldest guy on this team. Hate to tell you, Stu. He's a basketball guy. And then we would have Wemby. Somebody called me last night. I'm not going to break this. He threw this out there. He said, what do you think about the West Central undefeated team coached by Dave Hollenbeck, the legend? Everybody watched Dave win the state title. That's 5 state titles this past weekend now. 4 at St. Thomas More, 1 at West Central. He went 25-0. He's got a 6'10 kid. He's got a 5'10 guard. He had 8 guys that were solid. Could my South Dakota media team, with Wembanyama, we got Wemby, 7'5", could we beat the West Central boys 25-0 current makeup?
I've thought about this question a lot, and which is crazy to think on a Thursday afternoon when there's the Sweet 16. I'm thinking about Nate Brown running up and down a basketball court.
I'd love that.
Boy, I really do enjoy this. It is. Yes, you could win.
What?
And here's why. Here's why. And now, I think you could lose, too. I don't think it's a guarantee that you would win. I think West Central will be able to score because they'll run up and down the court, and Wemby can't defend 5 guys.
Okay.
I think you guys are going to be panting on the court and struggle.
10 minutes.
The problem I have with West Central winning is how on earth are they going to stop Wembanyama, right? Like, you got to put all 5 guys on him? Like, he's still 7'5". Like, what's the tallest kid on West Central?
6'10".
Okay. 6'10".
And he's good, but he might be able to slow him down, but that's not 7'5".
I mean, Wemby's going to score. How many possessions is Wemby not going to score on unless he sits outside and misses some jump shots, right? Like, if he's in the paint, right, you can throw the ball to him, and I don't even imagine the 6'10" kid is going to stop. I mean, you might guys make some bad passes, right? So if you turn the ball over, which I could see you doing, even with Wembanyama.
You're not giving us any credit. Like, you've said Wembanyama, you've said Wemby, you've said Wemby, and then you said we won't play defense. We won't play defense. We'll throw the ball away.
I'm not saying you won't play defense. I just don't think you'll be able to keep up with the kids, right? You won't be able to run up and down the court with them. You are an afterthought, is what I just said. But Wembanyama, if the only way you lose, because I do think you'd win, the only way you lose is if you guys can't feed the ball to Wembanyama. Right? If they steal the ball from you guys, right? If they can find a way to generate turnovers, then they would have a chance to win. But short of that, I mean, he's one of the greatest players in the world, and he's 7'5".
So you think, and this is what I've told people, it's a fun, mythical game, Wembanyama should score every time.
I don't see how if you can get him the ball, and I do think there's a chance. Like, he's not going to bring the ball up every time, right?
No,
I assume we're playing we're playing, what is the 10-minute quarters, or what are we doing here? 8-minute quarters?
We'll go 12 minutes. We'll go NBA.
12-minute quarters, 48 minutes. Wembanyama, I mean, he's a world-class athlete, but even if he has to play 48 minutes and do all of the heavy lifting for Brown, Kearney, Whitney, and Zimmer.
Come on. It's against a high school team. This guy's tearing it up. And by the way, we're getting some buckets. I'm going to hit a couple of threes. I'll hit a couple of threes.
You're going to take a couple of threes because you're going to be open because they're going to let you stay open. Or you're going to make probably one or two. I don't know about much more than that.
And we win easy. And we win easy because then Wemby's going to dominate it. So you're giving the media team, you said we would win.
Probably, but I think it's very close. And I think a game like this, your team will get very tired in the second half, and those kids will still have plenty of energy, and you'll make some mistakes.
When would Matt Kearney foul out? I mean, you just look at his attitude and the way he's aggressive. So, I mean, he's going to get after somebody.
There are a lot of words I would use to describe Matt Kearney, but aggressive would not be one of them.
You haven't seen him. You haven't seen him like I've seen him.
I see him twice a week.
He brings it.
Aggression, though?
Yes.
I think he would not foul out.
Whoa.
I think he's smart, and, he will push that limit a bit. And listen, he might play the last 7 minutes of the game with 4 fouls. Are we playing 5 fouls or 6 fouls? What are we doing?
6 fouls. 6.
All right.
6.
He's not going to foul out. He might play the last 7 minutes with 5 fouls, but he's not going to foul out.
Okay, I'm
curious how many times you're going to turn the ball over, because I would imagine a game like this, if you have to play, and assuming, I'm very surprised you would say 12-minute quarters. You don't have any backups.
Yeah,
you're going to play 48 minutes?
I am. I'm going to bring in some other media guys off the bench. I'm going to bring in some guys from Sioux Falls, and some of these guys are kind of coming off the bench. So we'll have some subs, but I'm going to need that. I'm going to be tired. You said I'm going to be tired in the second half. I'm going to be tired in the second minute.
Yeah, 6 turnovers for Nate Brown.
6?
That would be the over-under.
Well, that's going to hurt a little bit. By the way, I say the media could win because Wemby's going to dominate the game, but I do worry about us guarding high school 25-0 players. I worry about that a lot. If we throw Rob Kagron into the game, then what? Would you be able to help us at all?
You want to talk about aggression? I don't think anybody who listens to this program would be shocked if I had some aggression on the basketball court.
We don't want to get anybody hurt. We'll keep you out. Coming right back, opening day in Major League Baseball today. I know it was last night, the Netflix thing, okay, but Major League Baseball opening day today. We're going to get into some Dodgers, favored again, and ballpark food. Your number one ballpark food as we go to the ballpark coming up.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
Turn your tax.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Upgrade early and save more with Renewal by Andersen. March into savings when you buy one window or door and get the second 40% off. With no money down, no interest, and no payments for 12 months, you can upgrade your home to energy-efficient Acclaim replacement windows and our stunning ensemble entry doors. And the best part is you pay nothing until 2027. Your first spring upgrade starts here, so don't wait. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place that's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait, there's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
Are there as many kinds of vehicles as there are kinds of people? We think so. At Black Hills Federal Credit Union, we help all kinds of people come together with all kinds of vehicles. With loans made to fit everyone and every ride.
To the Nate Brown Show on YouTube.
All right, welcome back in the Nate Brown Show live Thursday edition. It is happy hour right now with Rob Kegron live in studio on South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Well, I got a text that sounded like they were concerned if I played in that media basketball game. Even if I had Wembanyama playing against the West Central boys, he said he would be worried. Everybody be worried about me collapsing before halftime. I don't know if that's nice of you to say or if anyway, I'm going to bring it. I'll tell you that. So I probably would collapse. All right. Opening day was, I guess, last night, Major League Baseball. Seems a little early, but opening night last night. Rob Kegron's a Giants fan. They go down to the Yankees in San Francisco on Netflix. I wasn't big on it. And so it's 1 of 162. Giants lose. I'm going to ask about the opening day stuff here. We got a listener text that just came in saying about these different opening days. So Netflix does baseball. I said this yesterday, Rob. Major League Baseball is not the NFL. I know they want to. We're a Netflix. We're Peacock. We're going to be on 10 different things. You're going to have 5 different subscriptions to catch some of these games. They think they're the NFL trying to do, Netflix. I get it. Money, standalone. I understand. But the NFL is now going to also mix it up. What do you think of this? Listener just texted in saying, what about the NFL now mixing it up opening night, Wednesday night? Wednesday night, the Seahawks are going to play. Do you care?
No, but the reason they're doing that is because of the game in Australia, right?
I know.
The Ram game in Australia.
Another stupid game, though. It's like, what are we doing with these?
Well, you don't have to fight me off on this. I think these games in different parts of the world make no sense. Is the NFL Are they looking for more global reach? Obviously. Are they going to get it? No, I don't think so. I think they'll get marginally, certainly, but people, and I lived in Europe for 5 years, 5 consecutive years. Now, again, it was a while ago, but Europeans don't care about American football. Maybe watch here and there, but the fact that they're trying to get into all of these markets, I don't think it makes any sense. I get why they're doing it. I think they do it at the expense of their own fans because they know that the NFL fan will watch at any hour, at any time.
Yeah, so you're saying Wednesday night.
I'm going to watch.
We're going to watch, but I did think, too, it's like, we got to go Wednesday night now? I mean, that just seems odd. It's Wednesday night Seahawks. Thursday night, a dumb Australia game with the Rams and 49ers. What do you think Major League Baseball doing their standalone Netflix last night?
So I have no problem with them doing a standalone game, right? Wednesday night, late March, there's nothing else on television, right? It's your only chance to try to get some inroads, right? Like today, opening day, I get there's some history to that, so they think that they'll get eyeballs, but you are competing against the Sweet 16 tonight, right? So I think doing a standalone game makes sense. Putting it on Netflix, I don't understand that at all. And I completely agree with you having to have this many providers and subscriptions to watch your games. And this is not a New York show, but if you were a New York Yankee fan, you really have all of the Apple TV. You need Amazon, you need Peacock. You had to watch the opening night on Netflix. I think it's way too much. I get why they do it. It's pretty simple. It's money. They can say reach all they want. It's about money. It's absolutely about money. I don't think it helps the traditional baseball fan, but there are 162 games, right? And so what the league would tell you is that you're not going to watch 162 games anyway, so we might as well try to get little drips and drabs of fans from all different places.
Yeah, but how about if you're going to do it last night? Great. Put that thing on NBC. Put that thing on Fox. 2 of your broadcast partners. I'm talking broadcast TV. Could have been actually pretty big last night. I don't know what the Netflix numbers are going to be. I think minimal. Minimal.
Probably minimal is right. I agree. I would generally agree that putting it on broadcast television obviously going to have a bigger reach. But that's what, we are the way of the dodo bird, you and me, right? Like we like things on. I like not having to search for my games, right? I can't stand the fact that they're putting games on weird networks and weird platforms and weird subscription-based services. But again, I mean, the proof is the fact that people keep watching, right? And they keep signing up for these things. Do I think it will work for baseball like it works for football? Of course not. But I don't think it's going to hurt them drastically where they're not going to do it anymore.
Matt Kearney would tell you, so you can switch, between streaming and stuff. There's this box. You can buy this box. It's got 4 inputs. And then you can have streaming 4 things at once on your thing. So you can actually switch from streaming to streaming. And he thinks that solves our complaints.
Well, you mean switching, or you mean 4 boxes on the same television?
4 boxes on the same TV, or you can switch it to one. You can, but you can still flip back and forth like you're flipping through the TV channels, but now you're flipping through the streaming, and you got 4 outlets to do it.
I'd go along with that. That would help my life a lot.
It would.
Yeah, like particularly in like on a night like tonight, right? If I want to have a baseball game on one channel, right, and then 2 college basketball games on 2 others, right, and the baseball's streaming somewhere, and I have
on Peacock, I think,
right, and then I have my YouTube TV for the 2 basketball games. Could I do that? And this is what you're saying with that box. Matt is shaking his head. Yes,
that's what he's saying.
Well, I'm okay with that. I mean, I just got to get the box and hire Matt Kearney to come over and set it up for me because I don't know what the heck I'm doing.
See,
with this
that's
stuff.
So maybe he might have solved a problem, but it's still a problem. It's that I just want to switch. What? We used to have this. Why did we create this new world? Anyway, we created this new world, and we can't even switch around. We got to buy a new box now.
The only thing I'll say, and I generally agree with you as the old man on the lawn, if you're telling me I can watch multiple streaming services in 4 different boxes, that's not something that you and I had growing up. It's not something that you and I had a few years ago.
Yeah, by the way, I don't like it. I don't do multiple views. I don't like multiple views.
Are you nuts?
Lock in on the game. Watch the game. I don't want multiple boxes.
There are 2 basketball games going on right now. You're only going to watch one of them?
I'm going to watch one of them. I am going to watch one of them. It's called a sports book. Go to the sports book. You want to have a good experience? Go to the sports book. Don't break up your TV and get all distracted. I've seen your eyes. They bounce from one corner to the other on this show.
I love our partners at Tin Lizzy Gaming Resort, right? But I don't necessarily want to drive up 45 minutes all the time to go watch in that setup. I actually feel evolved in this studio for the first time. You really just watch one game at a time.
Oh, absolutely.
You are a maniac in 2026.
Absolutely.
Right? You are lost.
No. I'm watching.
What did you do last weekend?
I want to check another one out. I popped around all the time. I want to get into a game. I don't want to be distracted. What happened there? What happened here? I got 5 different boxes up on the TV. You look like a doofus. Anyway, okay.
I'm worried about you. I really am. The fact that you think you can run up and down the basketball court but you can't watch more than one game at the same time.
Bing, bing, bing. You guys got 4
my eyes are all
going.
You're right.
Bing,
and that's why I stand up most of the time. I don't sit when I watch sports. I stand up and I'm literally going back and forth 4 different games.
That sounds like a lot of fun. Squirrel. What?
How do you watch football if you don't watch multiple games at the same time?
What are we doing? By the way, last one, and then we'll take a timeout.
You are. I've learned so much about you tonight.
You got to watch the game.
I am watching. I'm watching.
Don't bounce around.
Tonight I can watch 2 games at the same time.
Huskers, Hawkeyes. Watch it. Enjoy it. I'm going to ask you about ballpark food right here, right now. We're talking about opening day, so I saw some people went to Wrigley Field today. My Cubs lost. I got a listener text saying, sorry about your Cubs. It's okay. I mean, we got 161 left, although we gave up 10 runs. Chicago dogs was the thing today at Wrigley Field. There were people grabbing the Chicago dog. It was only like 50 degrees. People had stocking hats on. Chicago dogs. I've had them at Wrigley. It's great. Go-to ballpark food for Rob Kegron. You're walking in, you're getting this.
It's a hot dog for sure. That's my number one.
A good one, though. You can't get a bad one. You got to get some onions. You got to get...
No.
Huh?
No.
What?
See, you guys...
Grilled
that's
onions,
a Midwest thing. Now, if I'm going to put onions on something, I'm going to put it on a sausage or a bratwurst. A hot dog doesn't get onions. All right? A hot dog gets mustard. Okay?
That's it?
Mustard. You could put sauerkraut on it
Pretty
for sure.
bland.
Mustard and sauerkraut work for sure. But I'm not putting onions on the hot dog. And I get some people do that, but that's not my thing. I'm perfectly fine. If I'm not going to do a hot dog... anything in a helmet. So helmet nachos, helmet ice cream.
Okay.
The fact that you're at a baseball game, you have to... There's so much fun in eating out of a baseball helmet, a mini baseball helmet. I would take nachos or ice cream for sure out of the helmet.
I'm with you on the hot dog. It's number one. It has to be. It's got to be a good, nice hot dog. By the way, do you like these new things? There was a new one that came out. Chili dog on top of a piece of pizza. A chili dog on top of a piece of pizza today.
Please tell me you don't like that but can't watch 2 games at the same time, because that's not the same human being. Right? If you like the chili dog on top of a pizza, you can watch 2 games at the same time.
I'm not watching.
Nah, that sounds disgusting.
I'm not having that.
Why would I want to mix these 2 things? Let me have a chili dog and then I'll have the pizza.
These ballparks,
you guys put too much on pizza as it is out Midwest.
They're getting cute. I know that. Final question of the night is next. It's about Rob Kegron, St. John's versus Duke. What do we got tomorrow?
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the 2nd leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
At Dakota Bank, we're more than just a place to bank. We're your neighbors. From everyday banking to home mortgages, insurance, and trust services, we're here for every step of your financial journey. We believe in doing what's right for you because we live here, work here, and care about our communities just like you do. Go with confidence, go with trust, go with Dakota Bank. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Insurance and investment products are not FDIC insured, may lose value, and have no bank guarantee.
Spring is in the air at Spearfish GMC Cadillac, and that means lot-wide deals on our entire lineup of locally sourced pre-owned vehicles. Choose from all makes and models, trucks, cars, SUVs, and certified pre-owned. All priced below market for unbeatable value. Whether you're trading in or trading up, now's the time to save big at Spearfish Motors. Visit us today or browse our inventory anytime at spearfishmotors.com.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Partly cloudy tonight with a low of 25. Northwesterly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tomorrow, 51. Mainly clear skies. Tomorrow night, lows level off around 36. Mainly sunny skies and dry Saturday and Sunday, low 70s. Saturday, mid-70s by Sunday. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently 35.
Stuck in a state of falling behind? Struggling to keep up with your kids, your finances, your insurance, your life? This is State Farm Agent Matt McCormick. Let me help you simplify and get to a better state. With me handling your auto, home, and life insurance, you'll have more time to handle everything else. Even more money, too. Because adding State Farm policies can earn discounts that could add up to 40%. Call me, State Farm Agent Matt McCormick, and get to a better state with State Farm. 348-0464.
The doctors and staff at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center have provided expert bone, joint, and muscle care to patients in the Black Hills area since 1976. Whether you're an elite athlete, a weekend warrior, or just want to continue your active lifestyle, the orthopedic experts at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center will help you stay in the game. Don't let an injury keep you from doing the things you love. Trust the team at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center, specializing in what moves you. Learn more at bhosc.com.
At Connect Home Center, they've been a part of the Mead Lumber family since 2000. Now, they're bringing everything together under one trusted name, Mead Lumber. Don't worry, your favorite team, great service, and high-quality products aren't going anywhere. Connect Home Center is becoming Mead Lumber. Same people, same service, just a new name. From design to finish, here for you every step of the way. Check them out at meadlumber.com.
From high school to college to the pros, from Rapid City to Sioux Falls, the Nate Brown Show is South Dakota's sports talk.
All right, we're rolling tonight. Thanks for being here. The Nate Brown Show is on. If you missed parts of the show, go to the Nate Brown Show podcast. A great week of shows on Apple, Spotify, Amazon. Search The Nate Brown Show, and you've got The Nate Brown Show podcast, wherever you get your podcast. Rob Kegron in tonight on a Thursday happy hour. We have to finish strong. 2 minutes left. Tomorrow night is the showdown. I asked you when you came into the studio, I said, you ready for tonight? Are you ready for hoops? You're like, yeah, it'll be good. It'll be good. Tomorrow, you're ready. St. John's and Duke. What's the deal tomorrow night? Give me your read. The Duke Blue Devils win. You have to know that. So what's it going to be like?
I think this is a very tight ball game of two teams that play good defense that will slow the game down and muck it up. I think the game will be won or lost in the paint. I do not think it will be won or lost on the perimeter. I certainly would think Duke is a better team, has some more weapons to beat St. John's. But Duke has lost twice. They lost to UNC and to Texas Tech during the season. And I think there is a recipe to beat them. And I absolutely believe that St. John's will be in this game late, last 5 minutes of the game. And, of course, I'm going to pick St. John's.
What? I mean, I thought you were going to be...
I went to the school. I graduated from there. I got a degree from there. I'm picking St. John's. Do I think... Would I be shocked if Duke won? No, of course not. I think Duke is a slightly better team. Not a lot better. Slightly better. They're not 100% Duke either. I think St. John's will make this a very competitive game, and I will not be surprised if St. John's wins, and so I'm picking them.
I will be surprised if St. John's wins, and I'll be surprised if they get out of over 60 points.
Who cares how many points they get as long as they win the game? I would think it's going to be a lower scoring game. I could see this being 62-61, something like that.
Dukies tomorrow. For Rob Kegron, it's Nate Brown. See ya.
Question. When you walk into the boardrooms of the most successful companies,